Welcome back to the Last Laugh podcast, where we dive deep into the mind of visionaries, thought leaders, and changemakers from around the world. I'm your host, Yash Sanghavi, and today I've got a truly special episode in store for you. Our mission is to bring the most inspiring stories and insights that can transform your life. We have someone truly exceptional joining us on the show, a man whose impact resonates across industries and communities. But before we get into it, I want to ask you a favor. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. By doing that, you're not just supporting the show, you're joining a community of curious minds eager to explore endless possibilities of the AI and entrepreneurship. Let's talk about the incredible guest today. His name is synonymous with innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. He's the one and only Mr. Tarun Anand. Mr. Tarun is not just a business leader, but also he's an ex-MD of Thomson Reuters. He's a catalyst for change and also a true blazer. He's a founder and chancellor of Universal Business School. And his passion for education has transformed countless lives with a career spanning over 2 decades. He's been recognized globally for his contribution to the field of education. But wait, there's more. Tarun's story is a tapestry of success in various domains. His insights have the power to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit and redefine your perspective on success. Today, we have unraveled Tarun's journey from his early days to the height of success he has achieved today. We will explore his experiences, the lessons he learned, and the vision that kept him inspired. So folks, get ready for reventing conversation that will leave you motivated, informed, and inspired to take your own challenges. Stay tuned because we are going to deep dive into the mind of Mr. Tarun Anand. But wait, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss the episode of Yash Sanghavi's podcast. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Alright, let's get started. Welcome to Yash Sanghavi's podcast, Tarun Anand's edition. So thank you so much, sir. Tarun sir, it's a pleasure to invite you on the podcast channel. The first question which I really want to ask you, how did you get that branding and what is the perspective of building India's first AI school into Greenland, which is again a contradictory,
Superb. Yeah. So we are India's first green university, and we are India's first artificial intelligence university. Yeah. The AI story started back in 2004-05 when I was based out of New York, and my customers were all the biggest hedge funds in the world who do multi-billion-dollar trading in the day. And they had these algorithms, which they would actually deploy along with our data, which is the Reuters data, into the exchanges for low latency trading. And I found that fascinating, that you create a method to the magic. You're parsing data, you're analyzing it, it's making decisions and actually executing a trade in the market. Those days it was called algo trading. Today you have a term called AI. So that's where I saw the power of computing, the power of data, and how it can make decision making easy. And then in 2018, I met a couple of professors myself from MIT and Stanford in Hong Kong, and they were just blew my mind out on the future of what they're doing in AI. So in 2018, when we applied for our university, we said we will be India's first AI university. We were gung-ho that AI is going to go and trickle down like electricity. You can't do without electricity in all our anything that we do. Similarly, AI will have that impact. So we said we want to envisage a university where AI is taught because that's the future. It's going to lead to tremendous boost in productivity, saving time, and effectiveness of organizations and individuals. So that was the story, and we said we want to make sure that when the student enters, he's grounded, understands these technologies. It's not just AI and ML, It's IoT. What does that do? Working with AI. You have vision, right? Computer vision. Then you add that to sound.
Right.
Then you add that to AR, VR, MR, and then you add down to blockchain if you want to go down the finance route. So all of these new technologies, we need that every student should know it. They should build on it. And then in the future, they can do projects on it. They can learn by actually applying those technologies.
Amazing. So we believe that in SF and San Francisco and in Silicon Valley, like US is best for AI, right? Currently, we say that US is best for AI. US universities are doing, many activities evolving around AI. So how is Universal Business School competing with such top universities, right? I would not say competing, but how do we leverage AI knowledge from the West, and how are we contributing towards the AI evolution?
So it's Universal AI University. It's not Universal Business School. It's Universal AI University.
Right.
And what we've said is that first thing we did was we partnered up with a $4 billion in revenues, one of the top 5 technology companies in India. We have a very unique partnership where we said, coming from the corporate world myself, we are endorsed by 60 CEOs. We said we want the industry to be leading the charge. They know the latest problems that the companies around the world have, and they are bagging those contracts. So let us go to them, and they completely revamped the curriculum. And believe you me, it's the most cutting edge curriculum that you will have. It would even compete with the best in the world.
Wow.
Because this is a multi-billion dollar, employing more than 80,000 employees. So we said, let's get the curriculum right. Let's get the pedagogy, or what we call andragogy, right. Let's get the faculty who are going to employ. So we have multiple, PhDs from IIT with computer science. Let's get these 3 pieces in play, and then we will go down this path. But there's a lot of learning because the world is changing at a fast pace. This institution will come and do the interventions with our students, whether it's delivery of sessions, whether it's projects, whether it's internships, and eventually placements. Why are they doing it is the question. I asked the chief operating officer and the CEO. He said, see, we pick up engineers, thousands of them from the top institutions, including the IITs. They do 4 years of engineering. We pick them up. We then put them into, after they finish 4 years, we put them into our own dedicated in-house college for 6 months to learn what's latest, greatest.
Right.
So they've done 4 years, and then 6 months they're off the bench. They are actually in school 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. When we partner with you, we don't have to take them through that, because over the 3.5 years, they will have learned everything that we want them to know, not what the education system thinks they need to know. We need them, and then in 3.5 years, they'll be on the, they'll be productive, and we can put them on the, projects instantaneously. So that's a 1 hour saving, 1 year saving for the student. It's a 6 months of cost saving for the institution. So it's a win-win. And to our mind, that will set us apart from most of the education institutions who are teaching AI today.
Wow. So, I also believe the same. Like, there are 2 types of students. One is who is basically nervous, and second is who is scared. So due to AI, now what is happening is people are getting scared that, our jobs will be taken by the AI. So do you believe that AI will replace jobs, and what is your perspective towards this question?
So I've said this often. I say, before AI takes your job, which is a huge if, someone knowing AI, using AI will take your job. So you got to get yourself upscared. There's no point getting afraid. You got to. And I think AI is going to unleash we are in the age of AI. It's going to unleash an immense amount of productivity, which is going to come in, which I mentioned. But the important thing is that I feel as strongly that AI is going to make us even better managers. Now, why do I say that? Today, when the Industrial Revolution came in, everybody said, a lot of the menial tasks, whatever the, repetitive, boring tasks will be taken away by machines. And it's happened. But it's come back and creeping in. It's been scientifically proved that 30% of our working day we spend on repetitive, boring, non-value additive tasks. AI will take that away. It'll free up our time to do more creative things. to do more human things. So because I think AI will make us more human.
Right.
And finally, it's going to be, rather than AI learning from AI, it'll be individuals guiding it. Because AI learning from AI is kind of a poisonous, self-destructive mode. Whereas if human beings have more time, they will be able to guide that AI to get better out of it, unleash creativity. So let's say, give you an example, where the heirlooms were dismantled in the Western world and in India, and then people stopped using their hands and for fashion design. And then the computers came and the CAD program, and you see the kind of versions of design that could be unleashed. Now you imagine when that happens through AI, where you can actually mix and match, right? Today you can, cross-functional design can come in. So things we've not even experienced can come in, 3D design can come in, all of those things play together, make life easier. The retail world is already like replete with examples of how you can actually stand and see which shirt looks good for you. You put on a VR lens, you can go into a real estate thing, see everything. Yeah. You can even feel the material, right? So that's the level of creativity boost AI is going to bring in. A huge amount of our relationships. If we spend less time on the laptop, we'll be able to build better relationships, which will make a difference. Our empathy quotient will go up because we're doing rubbish today, right? Our empathy and this is what AI can't take away, right? Relationships, leadership, teamwork, all of these things are going to be even more in demand, especially post-COVID, when you're in a dispersed way, spread out around the world. How do you make people work together and bind them to be a productive workforce? So I think too much has been said about the scare. Of course, there will be, when the wheel came in, the cars came in, the guys doing the riding the whatever you call ghoda gadis, they became drivers, right? With the cars. So I think there will be a shift.
Okay, great. So I have in the world, right? The biggest tool is the question, and this is the next question: that what is prompt engineering according to you, and why it is an important skill set? Because we say the way communication is necessary for each and every organization, same way prompt engineering will be the next skill set which will be very necessary. So how things are changing towards prompt engineering, and what is the power of the question when we ask to the generative AI or the AI?
So, like you said, if you ask the right question, you'll get the right answer, right? So AI, generative AI, ChatGPT, you've got to have layers. If you've used it, I'm sure everybody has used it. It's layers on layers, and it keeps understanding what are you actually getting at to get to the answer. It's still not there. There are many times you'll get a nice answer, but it's not going to hit. That's where the human interface comes in, that I, along with AI, can become a superhuman. Right. And that's what we want to make happen. Remember the days when we had calculators? 9 digits into 9 digits, we would spend some minutes calculating 1 line, 2 line there, and then totaling it. Now in a calculator, you do it fast. Same way with content. I ask my teams to get me some information. They take 5 days, 7 days, sometimes 2 weeks to get it. I get it in 3 minutes. That's the benefit, right? So I think, and to get better answers, prompt engineering is the essence of doing layer after layer of questioning, so that you're actually guiding the AI to get you through the right place, which will be most effective for you.
Right. So just an analogy, like my perspective of AI and prompt engineering is basically, in the world, the worst prompt engineer, do you know who is he? I'll tell you, that is my analogy. So it's basically Nobita. So Nobita Doraemon, like we used to see this cartoon series where the Doraemon
I didn't see that, so maybe.
So the Doraemon is basically the chat GPT in today's world, and we asked the question, it was coming up with a tool that, hey, this is the answer for this. So that is the analogy which I had. And the movie Krish, where Hrithik Roshan, with Jadoo, like we get the superpower. So, and he talked about computers in that particular movie. So I was really fascinated about AI from there. And now today, like for every listeners who are listening here, from you we want to understand how is AI changing industries, and which are the top industries where AI will make an impact.
So I think the way we've positioned ourselves at Universal AI University is kind of, it's like, I call it the golden triangle. You have The biggest problem facing the world today is environment and sustainability challenge, which is causing havoc in people's lives in pretty much every continent. So that's the biggest challenge that humanity faces, and it's a very complex problem because it's got so many layers and layers of complexity because it faces off so many industries and impacts different aspects of environment. So that's the challenge. Then you have the tool, which is artificial intelligence, right? And then at the top you have the entrepreneurship. So if you can do this golden triangle well, which is what we are hoping to do with Universal AI University, developer entrepreneurs who will use AI tools to solve the biggest problems of the world, right? Today it's environment, tomorrow it could be something, and there are less complex problems in business as well. So, right, if you can solve the most difficult. So, for example, on climate change, I would say, AI is making huge impacts in terms of whether it's carbon capture processes are now developing to, see where is the most effective way of capturing. There's, climate finance, where how you're using predictive models to actually develop, tools to where the money needs to go. You have, renewable energy. How do you make it effective? I know of how IoT is playing a huge role in that in terms of renewables, to see the effectiveness of the renewables. You have the entire resource management, natural resources management. You have the monitoring of environment, which itself need to be done, and AI can do a great job. We are on the verge of setting up a project where we're going to have a combination of drone technology, IoT and AI to essentially look at how over a 6-month period how the crops come up, and it's already been done. Wow. It's not rocket science, but we've got some new ideas on how it can be monitored and how interventions can be made. So there's a whole gamut of environment solutions that are coming, and more as this process. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. I think every industry is specific, whether it's the mobility world, the car world has already gone leaps and bounds in AI, and the guy who has got the maximum data of that is Elon Musk, right? He's seen how the entire, and again, he's got environment, using mobility solutions to actually drive more energy efficient vehicles. So, you pick the industry, I'll try and give you an answer. But what I like to think about it is, so from my student body perspective, right? Tomorrow you're in, industries are figuring it out, there are more applications, but I'm saying this is a child who wants to do a BA in psychology. He or she is asking me the question, what about AI in my world? Yeah. Right? How do I now do it? So, that was a aha moment for me, and I said, you know what, tomorrow you'll be a counselor in a campus or in a corporation. You will get patients or people with issues of mental health. You will keep getting patients, and you're currently using your gut to say, okay, these are the 3 possible solutions or interventions is the right word, which will probably get you off, and whether it's I'm not talking of medicines, I'm just talking of a base counseling effect. Now I said each of that individual that comes into your office, there's a lot of back data on him. There's demographics data, there's where they sit in the ecosystem, their revenue profile, their earnings profile, all of that. So if you can keep populating that data, and then you have a solution, you suggest the solution which will go in AI. In a few years from now, you will see that another person of a similar thing comes in. You don't have to, let the data do the decision making. You don't use your thing. It'll tell you these 7 factors or maybe 25 factors means you need to give this intervention because it's got the maximum possible solution to, or solves the problem. Maybe in year 1, year 2, you'll get a 4 out of 10 result. Right. That's okay. You will guide it. At some point, it'll become better and smarter and make it at 8.9. But still, you will retain control, right? True. Because you are guiding it. You are actually putting your entire knowledge brain, and that's doing the mathematics behind the calculation. So even someone like that can use AI.
Wow, that's a great perspective. So as you said, data is the new oil, and everybody's saying the same thing. The last question, and because we invest in companies, right? And we have seen a change in investment patterns also. The first is coming as climate tech, which will be relevant for the next 5 years. Fintech, banking, then there is financial services, all I keep in the same bucket. There is education and education technology who is leveraging AI a lot. And you are coming from banking background, which I know for a fact. So I want to know your perspective, how banking, blockchain, how AI and blockchain is changing the banking ecosystem, and how we will see the future banks, leveraging AI, as simple as that.
So, banking used to be a relationship business.
Yeah.
It's fast moving into a technology business where you will, earlier you used to go to a branch and you didn't get a chance to go to the teller. I was at my bank and I was the only guy standing at the teller for an hour. I wasn't selling for an hour, but so I'm saying that's what's happening.
Yeah.
All of banking has moved pretty much on a digital platform. Everything can be done with the interventions of UPI. It's gone to on steroids. Every person on the planet, is in India especially, is on that. So financial transactions are. Now what happens with, let's say now we add blockchain to it, and then there is a layer of security which I think which needs to come, because there's a good AI, there's a bad AI. There are some not so fancy actors who are trying to use that. There is a OTT movie on that of some person in Jharkhand, Jam Teda or something like that, how they were continuously, 6-7 standard pass guys just with internet were scamming, right? So there's going to be a whole layer of security, and cyber security will start becoming even bigger. It's anyway big, it's going to become a different level. So I think it's all about how that data, in the case of banking, it's those bits and bobs which are put in a secure layer, which allows the banking to do a transaction without many touch points. I mean, the touch points are such that, when I speak to you, you still come to know over the phone, who am I? Because you asked me for something, right? Can it go to a time and point where we are transacting, actually we don't need to be there. The machine is doing the transaction, and there are separate locks kept in the system which do not allow us to know each other as such. And so that will allow a lot more secure financial transactions, and therefore speed it up and go to a different level of effectiveness.
The campus is beautiful, right? So how did you envision this beautiful campus, and what is the story behind this campus?
So for us, it was, we felt like we wanted to be close to Mumbai, the business capital of India, yet far enough so that we have a residential campus. I had studied at some of the best universities in the US like Michigan and Tuck, and they have all residential campuses. And I had also studied in India, where I had to do a commute every day. And I said that commute doesn't make sense, it's a waste of time. So we said we want to have a residential campus, and then we want to find a location which is distraction free, but yet close to the capital, and so get best of both worlds. Because if you're far away into the interiors, or you're far away from the business capital, it's difficult to attract talent, right? Like you have come today. We wanted to get the industry into our campus on a regular basis, so close enough, and when industry comes here, they say, wow, what a beautiful environment that you've created. So I think it's best of both worlds, and students can also do a lot of projects with industry simultaneously. And Karjat is, I call it the Hamptons of Mumbai, like you have the Hamptons of New York. So it's a fully untouched nature. We have mountains on all sides. During the rains, we have more than 16 waterfalls coming in. So what better place to learn?
Amazing. So it's a very small concept. Like I just got to know there is no plastic allowed inside the campus. So wanted to know, additional question to the first question, like how did you build this green ecosystem around the campus itself?
So, I come from the corporate world. So I was the managing director of a large multinational, and I asked my management team, which are all from the top IIMs, top Ivy League schools, and I said, what do you know about sustainability, environment friendly, green, all of that? And I was not pleased with the answers I got. And I said, if this is the leaders of our top institutions today, that doesn't seem like a right way forward. And this was way back in 2008-9 when we were envisaging. So we said, let's establish India's first green business school. And towards that, we said, okay, it's not just about calling it green. We have employed solar power. At 1.70% of our electricity was generated by solar power. Then we said rainwater harvested. We built dams. We've had some very interesting, models to recharge the groundwater. We've done waste recycling. We did, when we got this barren land, it had not a single tree on campus. So we've planted 7,000 trees on campus. So like that, we got green electric vehicles, everything we can possible. We changed all our fans to BLDC technology, so that saves 70% of the energy savings. Lights were moved to LED. So you name it and we did it, right? Whatever we could find in the world. So we said that's the hard part of the green thinking. Even our walls, we created our walls, which has got 2 feet between the actual wall and the wall you see is got drywall cladding. So that gives this thermos effect. The glasses on all is DJU glass. So there's a vacuum, so that less heat transmission, less electricity, less air conditioning, so on and so forth. So like that, there's a whole host of things. But we said that's the green hardware part of it. Now, why is Apple one of the best phones in the world? Apple is great because it makes great hardware and great software, and they work together. So we had done the hardware part. We said now we've got to work on the software part. And for us, the software part was engineering the green thinking in our students' minds. So way back in 2011, when we envisaged this, the first batch came in, we had subjects like green finance, green marketing, green operations, green supply chain logistics, and we said let's start from day one, so that when they go out of the campus, they will have that knowledge. Over the years, we've even graduated that every module of every subject should have a green component, barring these green specializations. Can we get green case studies in finance, right? Can we do that in other aspects of management? So that's where the story went, and therefore that's what created this green environment around us.
Wow, thank you so much for these wonderful insights, and I'm very sure whoever my audience is listening, they're going to get a super value add from this particular podcast, and I'm looking forward for school to grow, and there are many entrepreneurs who are going to come out of this school, leading their businesses, leveraging AI. I'm very sure with your vision, the school is going to go 1,000 miles ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to watch this podcast till the end. I'm very sure that you might have got some beautiful insight from Mr. Tarun Anand. So if you want me to call such entrepreneurs, leaders, thought leaders on this podcast channel, do subscribe, because this will really help me to build my community and grow this channel to make sure that you get some value out of this podcast. Do share this podcast to at least one person if you think that this podcast has added value to your life. Until then, see you in the next podcast.